Dear Dawood, why do we call it the Last Supper?
The Last Supper, it's the supper that Jesus had before he was crucified, buried, and resurrected. That's why we call it the Last Supper. But as well, it's the supper that he established, the Holy Eucharist institution, or as we call it, the New Testament.
Explain to us what was the situation here and how it was prepared here.
Jesus was asked by his disciples, as we know from the Holy Gospels, where we shall celebrate the Passover supper. Simply, he said, you will find a man carrying a jar. Why a man carrying a jar? Because not all of them, they knew where the location will be. So they need someone to guide them. And according to the tradition, this man was Saint Mark, because the house belongs to him. So they start following him. As a man carrying a jar, which is unusual, simply, he will not walk slowly. So most probably, he was running and they were running after him until they've reached the room, the upper room, cenaculum, or the cenacle as we call it, a furnished room, triangular table, mattresses and cushions around. Jesus should be before them there. He is the host to welcome them. And he should sit to the edge, to the left edge of the table. Near him, John, to his left. Opposite John, Peter. And to his right, Judas, the guest of honor. And that's why Judas dipped from the plate of Jesus to eat, and Jesus dipped himself from his plate and he gave him to eat. It's the sign that he's the guest of honor.
Why he didn't start with the blessing, the bread and the wine?
Well, according to the traditions, Jesus should start with blessing the bread and the wine, then the supper. But Jesus had spared the bread and the wine after the supper, because he was about to shift them from Old to New Testament. So Judas had participated with the supper of the Old Testament, but he did not participate with the Holy Eucharist institution, the flesh and the blood.
Please, Dawood, also explain to us why he had to wash the feet of his disciples.
Jesus over here as well, he washed the feet of his disciples. He was building a bridge, shifting them from old to new. Water is the purification of the Old Testament. But he will give his own blood and his own flesh, which is the Holy Eucharist. Simply, washing the feet, he's teaching them humbleness. He's the master and he's washing the feet. He shouldn't do that. The most poorest among them, he should do that. That's why St. Peter complained, you cannot wash my feet. Because he's the poorest, sitting to the right of the table. He's the one who should wash the feet of the disciples. But Jesus was teaching them humbleness, and he was shifting them from old to new, as I have mentioned. And according to the culture, if you invite someone to your house during the time of Jesus, the first thing that you should do to him, washing his feet. It's a sign that you are at home. You're welcoming him at home. You're honoring him by washing his feet. And because they used to wander a lot, wearing sandals, so their feet should be cleaned before they sit to the table and eat.
How do we know that this is a place or this is the area?
We know that we're around the place because the Bible, the book of Acts, reported about the events that happened at the upper room, even after the Lord was crucified, buried, and resurrected. This is the place where he appeared to his disciples when everything was closed, the windows and the gates. This is the place where they were fulfilled by the Holy Spirit. So it's the place where they were consecrated as the first bishops of the church. This is the place where they've had their own economical meeting. Now simply, the area was destroyed 70 AD. Christians have returned to the location 75 AD, establishing the little church of God. Worshipping around this area, even during the Roman period, Alia Capitolina, there was the Christian existence around this area. Historians spoke about it like Epiphanius of Salamis. Comes the Byzantine period. A huge church was built around, known under the name of Hagia Zion. Hagia Zion was a big church with chapels, as we shall see and explain. Hagia Zion was destroyed 614 by the Parthians. Then it was recovered again by Modestus. Then it was demolished 749 during the Great Earthquake. It was recovered in a modest way up till 1009. Then it was smashed by Al-Hakim. Abandoned up till the Crusader period. And here comes the story of the room that we're having today. The Crusades have divided Hagia Zion into chapels. The chapel of the upper room, the chapel of the Holy Spirit, the chapel of the lower room that became David's tomb later during the Crusader period. But they have reused the Byzantine columns, as we can see inside. Byzantine columns with Crusader arches, serving as a church up till the Ottoman period. Then the place turned into a mosque, and the place served as a mosque up till it was turned into a secular room as we have it today. Today we have inside the niche that is facing Mecca, some verses from the Quran, the holy book that the Muslim using. As well, we have the Byzantine columns, as well the arches of the Crusades. And in the year 2000, Pope John Paul VI, he added the olive tree from copper that we have inside. That stands for the Mother Church, because we are at the Mother Church. And we can see the branches coming out from the roots. Stands for the churches all over the world that came out from here. United around what? The bread and the wine. So that's why we can see nearby the roots, the trunk and the roots, a branch of vineyard and a branch of weed, the flesh and the blood, united the whole church around.